Hi, welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Big up to all my Jamaicans at home and abroad. We are still Jamaicans. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button, please. Even if you are not a Jamaican, let's get into this topic right here. A while back, I decided to warn the people because Granny said prevention better than cure. So I was telling them that the United States of America has joined forces with Jamaica to cut down on this scamming thing. And I was telling them back in 2016 that the iron birds were waiting and people were going to get bangles and bracelets and anklets and they were going to be connected together. And where we're going to see some people shuffling towards these airplanes, which they were going to be taken into the sky and to a place in the USA that is very cold up in the mountains like Montana. And they will be tried and prosecuted and they will be given prison sentences there. I don't know who wanted to leave their beautiful island of Jamaica with the sunshine and with white rum and with good ganja and with good food and go do prison time in the US because you're chopping the line trying to get you some dollars. Alright, them cost me. A lot of people said, shut up. You must think a little bit of money man a chop down ya. Well, fast forward a couple more years and I tried to warn them again. When I interview in Jamaica by a US journalist exposed a scammer youth and the scammer youth went running down the street. How are this? You never tell me say you're gonna put me on camera. I say watch this dummy running. But the real thing that came out of that interview was when the reporter from the US that was on the ground in Jamaica said, not only are we going to be going after your scammers, we're going to be going after the assets. We're going to be going after the cars and the houses and all these things. We're going to be working with your government. So you're going to have to show proof how you get the house. Yeah. So guess what? Mommy and daddy, granny and relatives now drop in at this. Because one time gone, when man was chopping hard, whether it was drugs money or chopping the line money, you would take that money and you would put it in somebody's name, right? You would have put it in a granny name, put the house in a granny name, or put the house in a mommy name, or in a daddy name. They came up with a strategy for that. They said they're going to change up the laws so that anybody they run in on and them ask you, where you get this big old house from? Show your bank account and your bank statements for the last 10 years. If you cannot show where you got your money from to get this big old house that you have built on hilltop and the nice Mark X and the BMW and whatever else you have parked up outside, it is going to be confiscated. They're going to take it away. So all resistance is futile. That means you can make a whole heap of money, but you have to go be careful at how you clean that money. You understand? Because simply putting it in mommy's name is not going to work anymore. Fast forward now to today, published Monday, August 14th of 2023, written by Janet Silveria, the senior Gleaner writer. This is in the Gleaner published. Cops target scammers' moms. All right. From 2016, me I want them, Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Vernon Ellis is warning that law enforcement will be targeting the mothers who knowingly shelter players in illicit lottery scamming. That means if you are one of those who they suspect to be into lotto scamming, they're not only watching you, they're watching your family members as well. In particular, they're watching your mother because they want to know if she is a part of it. They want to know if she is sheltering you. They want to know if she is helping you in any way and if she is protecting you in any way. Now, I don't know how the thing go already. Mommy, I go run out and ball out. Jesus Christ, my one son in just graduated. My son go church every Sunday, sing pan the choir and no bother nobody, is a hard working boy. Which part him work? I don't know. Construction, right? Right. So they are now planning to target your mom. His suggestion that scammers' mothers will face arrest followed last week's seizure of several illegal weapons over a 48-hour period in Jamaica. By the way, them said them giving out 15 years minimum for guns. Anybody caught with an illegal gun, and guess what? They've caught countless people with them since. So it's like the people them not even afraid to go do them 15 years. Anyhow, among the firearm law enforcement in the area, one police division removed from off the streets of western parishes are 4 high-powered weapons, 2 AK-47s, 1 M16 rifle, and 1 SLR, a self-loading rifle, all linked to the spiraling crime rate that is caused by, guess what? Bing! Lotto scamming. Lotto scamming money is being used to purchase these guns that are on the streets, is what they are saying. You see, if one did just was making the money and then was using the money to do some good about the place, and that was it, feed the community, build up something, open up some business, all these things, I don't think the law would be so hard on those scammers. But because the guns come into play, and then for those who don't understand this, you start making a whole lot of money, right? And next man might look upon you, and sometimes it's your own friend, might look upon you and say, which part him get bimmer from? Which part him I get nice car from? Which part him start get nice house and all these things from? Oh, him a choppy line. All right, then. Then a man want to take your things, right? Or he wants you to put him down in his business. You're not giving nobody your links, and you're not sharing your material possessions, so the thing get risky. Now you have to go buy big guns to protect your head back. And now you have to go get some brethrens to be those guys who bust the big guns for you to protect your head back. In some cases, it even includes police officers who have infiltrated the force. So you see how deep this lotto scamming thing goes. Lottery scamming money is being used to purchase the guns that are on these streets. They are responsible for the guns that are coming into the region, and many of the mothers of the perpetrators are registering cars, they are registering houses, and they are registering other criminal properties in their names. They very well know that these are ill-gotten gains. And me say so, you know? Commissioner Ellis says so, who was one of the original members of the anti-lottery scam task force, and he told this to the Gleaner, the Sunday Gleaner, last week. If in 2023 you still have your mommy registering cars and house and your assets and properties in her name, then you obviously didn't hear me from 2016 until now telling you about the plan that was developed between the US and Jamaica to confiscate these properties. You better make sure so your mommy have a way of showing how she earned the money to have these things, right? Because she can't sell food down a market from when, and she can't open a little cook shop, and the cook shop provide all these things from when. They're going to want to see a trail of the money. And if they have you as a scammer, and them go looking at mommy things, and them don't see the trail of the money, they're taking away all your stuff. He declared that the authorities intend to seize these. See there? You see what I've been telling you? Let me say it for you again now, because now at 2023, but I told you this from back then, 2016, 2017. He declared that the authorities intend to seize these assets and interdict the mothers for concealment of criminal property, which means they will press charges on your moms. And I want you to think even further, because those people who they call victims, who you call them skull, who you chop a line and get money from overseas, when they send those FBI authorities into Jamaica to get you, guess who else is getting them silver bangle and anklet and free ride pon the Iron Bird to go to a cell or a correctional facility and 3 meals a day? Not just you, but you and your mommy. Yeah, so no better think about that too. The mothers are going to be charged for concealment once we can prove it. They are condoning too much, Ellis said, noting that the scammers and their accomplices have become too comfortable buying up these houses in communities that are depreciating because of their acts. He also warned that other family members will be arrested and charged if they are found complicit in concealing any of your ill-gotten assets. Let me rewind this for you again. All right, you see this? Noting that the scammers and their accomplices have become too comfortable buying up these houses in these communities that are depreciating. To depreciate means to drop down in value because of their acts. In other words, the place get too hot, too much murder going around ya. This a wish part the scammer them there. People are moving out, people are running away, they're leaving their properties, which means me now who have little scamming money, I come in and I buy up these properties. They are saying that this is a tactic that is going on. Hot up the place, scare up the residents. When they run away or sell off their property at cheap price to get away, you buy it up because you have your scammer money. Then also warn that even your other family members, not just your mommy, will be arrested and charged as well if they are found to be complicit in concealing any of your ill-gotten gains. So put your car, put your Beamer in your sister name. If them find out and it runs back to you, they are going to be giving your sister, your mother, your daddy. And you know what? Here's the funny part. You don't have to believe it, but we've seen it already. I've seen the mother handcuff and leave Jamaica. I've seen the father handcuff and leave Jamaica. I've seen the sons and the sister handcuff and leave Jamaica. So this is not a made up thing like, oh, it's possible that it can happen. We have seen it happen. They're just letting you know that they're about to step on this, mash gas and go even harder. These scammers are not envisaging the faces of their victims, and so in other words, them not see the face of them victims, so they are cold-hearted towards them. It's not like you sit down in front of like an old lady and you say, hello, Miss Jones, this is Stephen Marcus. Yes, I'm calling from Publishers Clearinghouse and you've won. We're on the phone, so you don't see them. So you don't really care about them because you can't see them. It's not like you're in front of them and your heart start have like a pity. And you said, John no star. The lady look old and broke down and like she needs some help, right? So he's saying the scammers are not seeing the faces of these individuals, so they are cold-hearted towards them. All them want is the money. Ellis stated as he pointed out that his wish is to see between 40 and 50 extraditions in the near future as they take scammers and their relatives down. Should I mention this again for you? Let me repeat it again for the deaf people them in the back. Their goal right now, Mr. Ellis says, his wish is to see 40 to 50 extraditions sometime in the near future. 40 to 50 extraditions sometime in the near future. That means 40 to 50 people they are planning to handcuff and shackle up and put on one of them plane that we call the Iron Bird and fly them out, go foreign. I'm telling you right now, if you think you might be one of those, just be on the lookout. You probably might be. And not only them, to take the scammers and their relatives down. The anti-lottery scam task force and all members of the law intended to chase them out of town. Lottery scamming became prevalent in Montego Bay, St. James in the early 2000s. Here's a little history. Growing significantly between 2009 and 2010, which coincided with the explosion of business process outsourcing or BPO sector. Scammers were, so in other words, business process outsourcing. I guess businesses moved out of Montego Bay, went to other places. So jobs were few and far in between. So Montegonians started to do what they had to do to survive. I don't know. Scammers were able to access the personal information of persons who do online business and use that information to extort primarily unsuspecting elderly persons in the United States, causing untold pain and suffering for these victims. In the last 13 years, as cash-rich scammers battle for turf and influence, crime, especially homicide, murder, has escalated, spreading its vicious tentacles across western Jamaica, including into some of the quietest rural communities that were once crime-free. Again, so one time gone, we used to be able to say, boy, down a Clarendon, nice, and you can go there, go cool out, cause almost nothing happening in them place there. Or you can go a Senton, go chill out, cause Senton quiet on these things. What they're letting you know is that due to cash-rich scammers battling for turf with these guns they've bought and struggling for influence, crime, especially murder, has escalated and has spread into some of the quietest rural communities that were once crime-free. They have even spread into some of the upper echelon places that one time gone, regular Jamaican couldn't afford to go into these places and stay for extended periods of time. Now they are in these places, gated communities, areas that have Airbnbs and whatnot, right? Eventually, several rural areas in the western region were infiltrated by scammers who have now spread to every parish across Jamaica. So what started out being a Mobile thing has now become a Jamaica thing and has hit every corner of the island of Jamaica. In places such as St. Catherine, scamming has become intertwined with extortion. So if you know say the boy a scam and him have him scamming money, you don't have to scam. You just run down upon him with a big gun and tell him say anything you make, half of that a for me. Like in a shutters. Not true? So extortion go. Scammers and gangsters formed an alliance as the latter were recruited to help provide protection. So once you become big scammer, you have to go link with the killy gangster them and get some protection from them before dog name your supper. So now everything is intertwined. Now according to the police source, parishes such as St. Anne, Trelawney, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, they have become big problem areas with several high-end luxury vehicles being parked in the yards of young men with no known source of income. Not even a sell 2 orange on the sidewalk, but the big X6 and BMW and this and Benz park up in the yard, and they have no way of tracing how they got that money to get that type of a vehicle. This has been another issue in Jamaica for the longest, because people have been saying, well, if a young youth, 20 something years old, 22 years old, come in here to buy a brand new 2022 X6 or 2023 X6 BMW, why are you selling it to him without proof of income? Well, we could debate that another day. We reach a point where Lotto scammer mash up Westmoreland. It start mash up parts of Trelawney. It a mash up Clarendon and the whole of St. Elizabeth, which was peaceful and had only crimes like predial larceny, them a thief where people cow and goat and them something there. Them place there now controlled by scammers. Adding that Manchester was under siege up to last year. The police force was also infiltrated. Very interesting, because these aren't my words. This is the words of leading authorities who are telling us as citizens that the police force was also infiltrated causing Rear Admiral Hardly Lewin, when he was the Commissioner of Police, to interdict the staff at the Mount Salem Police Station in Montego Bay for their alleged involvement in Lotto scamming back in 2009. The whole staff, the whole police station. A year ago, Shelley-Ann Cherine Allen, a former officer stationed in St. James, was arrested in the United States of America and accused of being a mastermind behind a lottery scamming network in Trelawney. She pleaded guilty for her involvement and she is currently serving her time in the U.S. in prison. She was also caught with a significant amount of cocaine. So not only was she into lotto scamming, she was diversifying her hustle. She was also transporting coke. Now, over the years, several initiatives in partnership with international law enforcement agencies have been implemented to cauterize the illicit trade that has robbed countless elderly Americans of their assets. I told you all before, the U.S. is working diligently with Jamaican authorities to get to the bottom of this. Why for the bottom there? Over the years, so the Law Reform or Fraudulent Transaction Special Provisions Act 2013 was enacted to combat lotto scamming, advance free fraud and other fraudulent transactions. The Anti-Lotto Scam Task Force was also established as local and international counterparts work to put an end to the illegal trade, but in recent years it has come under fire for dropping the ball and not doing what it was invented to do. In spite of the efforts, including local international partnership, lottery scamming continues to thrive, raking in billions of Jamaican dollars for the criminals in the criminal underworld. So nobody feel like a little bit of money I make. It is in the billions with a B. Just last week, a Jamaican national who was previously extradited to the United States from Jamaica pleaded guilty in the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Northern Carolina in connection with a fraudulent Jamaica-based lottery scheme that targeted elderly victims in the United States. According to the court documents, Anthony Linton Stewart, who was 39 years old actually, of St. James, pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit mail and wire fraud. As part of his plea agreement, Stewart admitted that he contacted elderly Americans by telephone and falsely told them that they had won money on other prizes in a sweepstake or a lottery. Stewart told victims that they needed to send money to pay the fees and the taxes to clear their winnings. He contacted victims repeatedly for as long as they could be persuaded to send additional money. At Stewart's direction, victims used wire transfers and the U.S. Postal Service, among other means, to send money to individuals in the United States and in Jamaica who served as intermediaries and passed on the money to Stewart, and they were able to track all that all the way back to Stewart. In fact, no lottery ever existed and no victim ever received any money or any prize. The scheme defrauded victims of hundreds of thousands of dollars, said the U.S. Department of Justice in a press release. So, Stewart's scheme alone ripped off hundreds of thousands of U.S. dollars. Stewart is just the latest example in the department's ongoing effort to root out and deter fraud from foreign locations that target our most vulnerable consumers, said the release. Each year, millions of older Americans suffer heavy financial losses at the hands of these scammers. Today's guilty plea underscores our efforts to investigate and bring to justice. Each year, millions of older Americans, this is what they said. They said millions of Americans every year, elderly Americans. I've told people this before because you know a lot of people still saying, Well, good for them. It's good for them because them too greedy. Because nobody can call me and tell me about I won $1 million, but I must send them $1,000 to clear my $1 million. I would tell them to take that $1,000 out of the $1 million winnings and send me the rest of the money. Send me the rest of the money, not true? Right. So I am here trying to explain to people. Say a lot of the people that they are catching are elderly people. Some of them live by themselves, them lonely, them picnic them grown and gone. Nobody now look out for them. Them head a gather water. Them have Alzheimer's and dementia and all kind of something are going with them. And that is how they are able to get over on these people. And they genuinely believe that they have won something. Listen, a lot of these people actually come from a time when Publishers Clearinghouse and other entities used to have sweepstakes like these, and they would call you and say that you've won something, and you actually did win something. All Jamaicans did was just add the fee to clear your winnings, and them people who were born in the 1930 something and 40 something that's still around, they are still stuck in that mind frame. You understand? So they said that today's guilty plea now of Stewart underscores our effort to investigate and bring to justice the perpetrators of our elderly citizens. These fraud schemes, no matter where they originate. That means if you're in a hole or in the hills in Jamaica, we're coming for you. We will continue to join forces with your law enforcement counterparts to do all that we can to stop these criminals from stealing from our seniors. That is that. One person says scamming is a crime in Jamaica, so why this senior police officer want to see 50 extraditions to the US instead of seeing 50 arrests and convictions in Jamaica? We all know why. Another person said, well, because the victims are all in the US, and it is the US who wants retribution for the assault of their citizens. I think the person was trying to say something else though. Like, yeah, the one them where you catch, extradite them, but as long as we are eat a food down here, then we are gonna make sure say the man them who are make we eat a food, them alright. You know the thing run already. Lottery scamming is causing more damage to our reputation than gangsters shooting up each other. So many of these criminals' mothers are directly linked to their criminal behavior, is what Cleary says. Operation Chaos says the guns came into the island two ways. That's through the ports and boats using our open coastline as free for all. We pretend to have Marine Police and JDF Coast Guards doing patrols, but we all know that that's just for show. Guns in Jamaica are as easy to get as buying tin mackerel at a corner shop. Rotted. A.L. Smalling says, and you expect Marine Police and JDF Coast Guards to guard every inch of our coastline 24/7? And how about the police manning every corner, every town, every center, every home where there is likely a crime will be committed? Every inch of the island 24/7. Reality? Criminals don't advertise the place and time when they are going to strike. And the first defense to criminality to community is community involvement. Ordinary citizens like you and me. Well, for that the comment there, I will say this. We have a thing in Jamaica when you walk and live, talk and bumble clot dead. And it is very real. Okay? So most people who don't even know, because this is higher authorities telling you that their police force in Jamaica is infiltrated. So imagine you now go to complain to the police and you're actually complaining to a top scammer police friend who is going to bring your name and identity back to that top scammer there, who have all the money to buy all the guns and pay a hitman to slap you away and all these things. People prefer to walk and live instead of to talk and bumble clot dead. That's just the way how it goes. I. McCoy says, authorities intend to seize these assets and interdict the mothers. Don't forget the fathers too. Other family members and friends as well. As a matter of fact, anyone who cannot explain the legitimate source of their wealth. And yes, that is exactly what it's going to be. It's going to come down to any Jamaican citizen, whether you're scamming or not. Soon they'll be able to run upon you and say, where you get the house there from? How much the house costs? How much the Beamer costs? How much the Mark X costs? How much the Benz costs? Okay, we need all the paperwork of your finances for the last 10 years. If you can say, look, I was overseas for the last 7 years. Me used to work at this place and this place. See my pay stub them there. See my bank account there. See my check was deposited every payday, every 2 weeks or every week, blah, blah, blah. You'll be in the clear. For those who are not able to show where their money come from, they stand to lose their assets. You hear what I just say? Alright, so don't let this be for nothing that you're doing. Machaloy says, I am at a loss as to how one could readily be prepared to accept payment of prize money from lottery they did not buy. Should I feel sorry for scammers getting scammed? And these are the kind of people that I keep on telling that these people, a lot of them are not in a healthy mind state. So basically, it's like taking advantage of a handicapped person. The scammers are not targeting healthy, hearty, trapping young individuals, but instead the elderly, some of whom are beset with the challenges that come with aging. Many of the victims are not like yourself and I, who will tell the scammers straight up, if you cash the check, pay the taxes, take half and send the rest, come gimme. What they will tell them is, I'll send you the money instead. Insight Foresight says, senior citizens are the common victims. These individuals are the ones who randomly purchase lottery tickets and enter sweepstakes. Considering that a significant number of them suffer from failing memories and often feel confused about how the modern world operates, it's kind of easy to comprehend why they are frequently taken advantage of by scammers, even if they manage to figure out what's going on and attempt to resist. The scammers, both they and their families, are subjected to threats of violence. Many, gripped by fear and embarrassment, ultimately end up succumbing to the scammers' demands in the hopes that the scammers won't come back for more money, although they invariably do. Ultimately, these seniors are left destitute, having lost their retirement funds and with no means to cover their bills and medical expenses. Real something will happen. So Defender now says, I always question why unashamed greed isn't a part of the legal proceedings in the US. As you point out, if the victims did not purchase any lotto ticket, why would they expect to get any prize money? They should be investigated also. Oh, sorry. First Amendment rights protect their idiocy. So you see, this is a person right here who prefers to blame the victim than to actually see, no matter how often you tell them about Alzheimer's, dementia, other things that come with aging like confusion, plus the times that we're living in. Some of these older people, them used to a flip phone. If you give them a smartphone with all the apps on it, they don't know where to even start, right? So they are behind in times. So it's easy to pull a fast one on them. That combined with all the things that come with aging. Lucky G says security in the island is a total disaster. When you are not getting good money, it will cause you to hustle. So the question is, do you like what you're doing? Indiscipline is a crime breeder. What does the oath of a JCF and JA mean to you all? To uphold the rights of all citizens of Jamaica? Here, where we are missing out your professional and responsibilities. I don't know what that means. Sound like one bag of confusion. Couple more comments. Free Jamaica says the mothers are going to be charged for concealment once we can prove it. So at this stage, the police are making assumptions and they have no proof. How about beginning by arresting the politicians who are named in the Integrity Commission report for illicit enrichment, since there is proof And these persons should be setting the example for the mothers you are about to arrest and have no proof. I am in no way condoning scamming in any form for anyone who condone it. However, the law should apply to every citizen in the country and not only to the ordinary ones who do not have the protection of Parliament of Jamaica, which refuses to table reports to protect their associates, and instead of tabling the reports, they begin to attack and demean the Integrity Commission, which is made up of persons they choose and should have integrity, since that is what the name of the commission suggests. If crime of any type is to be harnessed in Jamaica, the Constitution must be amended or adhered to, in that penalty for certain crimes is the death penalty, period. Well, here what? Nobody now get no death penalty for no white collar crime. Okay? So no can't forget about that one. I just saw the thing go. Seeing? But at least start put people away for real. And like the other person commented, you have to start from the top. Or should I say from the root? Or should I say from the bigger heads, come right down? Because a lot of these people are protected in ways and are sharing their money with people in positions of power, so they are safe. Right? Cheryl says, yes, they're murderers, raping and thieving mumas. The Saint says, these scammers have their support team behind them because Jamaicans are so licky and them want everything without working for it. And this will not be easy. It will not be easy to root them out of a community. It will not be easy to bring them down because them have a bunch of people around them who love things. I do not condone scamming, but the idea of targeting mothers for the crimes of their children is a recipe for the destruction of the black Jamaican family. Acting Assistant Commissioner of Police Vernon Ellis is like a puppet to the Americans. You are about to embark on a racist strategy to destroy the black Jamaican family to appease Americans. You would never see the FBI or white American police officers targeting entire white families for the terrorist exploits of their racist sons. America has historically isolated the white domestic terrorists from their white racist parents, even when they live under the same roof. Me no know. Africanos, you're full of shit like land crab. Because check it. There is no way that we should be comparing this racism and terrorists in America to this. It is simply put, if the family members are enjoying the spoils and this murderous person who is also a scammer and is funding, using their money for guns and send up the murder rate, and the family knows about it and the family is complicit with it, I don't see the problem with the family getting caught up as well in the law and the punishment. And no good citizen should have anything other than that to say about that. Somebody said, how about the police just get the scammers? Don't you have to pass them to get to the mothers? We will soon find out. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. Send this cookie one of your chopper family member them as a warning. Alright. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Can't say me never did I warn you. Alright, my SouFLoTV audience, been wondering for the longest, why has Jamaica not gone totally solar yet? After all, Jamaica has powerful sunshine all year round. And people are in darkness in certain areas, especially in rural areas. And they've been that way for decades, waiting on government to install street lights. Well, Soninka solar lights. These are commercial grade lights, perfect for rural areas, perfect for dark corners and lanes, perfect for the backyard, the front yard, down the road, driveway lighting, stores, perfect for the farm, waterproof and remote control. Make your surroundings safer. Jamaica has sun all year round. and you will have no problem keeping these lights charged. Did I mention that they are commercial grade and they are remote controlled? You don't have to wait on government to install lights. Some people in some areas have been waiting for decades, literally decades, and they are still in the darkness. These are easy to install. Get in touch with Saninka and they will do the rest for you. And the best part is this: you don't have to pay a monthly light bill. No, this not gonna bother you like a JPS bill because it's charged by the sun. So take yourself out of the darkness now. Increase your safety now. Get in touch with Saninka Solar and thank me later. Come on, man. Watch there. All the contact information is right there for you. IG, email, phone number, which you can call by WhatsApp, which is free globally. Go on. Get yourself out of the darkness and into the light.